or if I'm more like being a realist. But there's an Instagram model, and she's 20 years old, and she's like 500 pounds. And I don't mean like 500 pounds and she's only 200 pounds. I'm like, she's saying herself she's over 500 pounds. And she's like, basically an adult model. Like, she has no problem, being, naked and on Instagram, as much as Instagram will let you post, I'll say, because they'll shut you down in a minute. I hate Instagram. But I went into it excited because I'm like, good for her. I'm all about, body positive. And then when I saw her photos, and I was just like, I don't want to be evil. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to do any of that, because that's not really what my podcast is about. But I just didn't know how to feel. I didn't know how to feel one way or the other. I thought, part of me is just like, why is this even a thing? Why is this a story? And then part of me is like, but you're interested, so you went and you checked her out, you found her, and sure enough, I did, But I gotta say, I'm not into it. Like, I'm all about body positive. I really am. When I see people who don't have perfect bodies, I love to reach out to them and say, hey, let's do a shoot, blah, blah, blah. But I'm always intrigued by a person like myself. I'm a bigger guy, someone who is just now, like, I'm getting back into health, not on a whole different level that I used to, because I would say that I was always been trying to lose weight, but I don't know that I have been, trying to do it the more healthier way. Like, I've always just kind of eaten a certain way to lose weight, but now I'm sort of taking a whole different approach about health, like raising my pH balances and making sure I have enough alkaline in my system, making sure I'm taking the right supplements, like, the fish oil, the omegas, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm just going all out and doing it right and eating, more salads, more green leafy vegetables, doing all of that, and eating oatmeal every day, which is something I always hated. Like, I don't think I could. I think as a kid, I would literally vomit if I ate oatmeal. It was just horrible. It's just the worst thing. And now I found one that I love. And all that to say that I've taken more, inventory into what I'm putting in, because there's something I want to get out of it. It's not about, like, before. Years ago, I would say it was about trying to get fit and thin so I could find someone to love and get into a relationship with, blah, blah, blah. But, see, it's not about that anymore. Because, again, when you're, 4-year celibate, you couldn't care less. You don't dress for someone else. You don't say things for someone else. You don't, like, me getting into shape has nothing to do with an exterior person. It's all about the interior. And so when I see somebody who's 20 years old at 500 pounds, I have to ask, like, how happy are you in that body, really? Like, yes, I get it. There's body positive, but I have to ask, at 20 years old, I wasn't 500 pounds. At 20, I probably was like about 300 pounds or so. And by the way, I'm nowhere near 300 pounds anymore. Just so you are aware. But I became a vegetarian, and then it just came off. Like, a lot of it, over almost not half, but a good 100 pounds of it just came off instantly, just the moment I stopped eating meat. But, in my case, it was quite different because of the fact that I was, on, Soul Train, and I was doing so much stuff that was, entertainment geared, and then got into music or whatever. But mentally, I still thought that I never would have been happy at 500 pounds. Like, when you reach over into that weight, I I don't know. I don't know if you could really be happy with yourself. And I think if you are, I'd have to really sit down with you and ask you what makes you happy at being 500 pounds. Because I was just talking to, my nephew, my fake nephew, Cal, today, and he used to be, like 400 and something pounds, and he's nowhere near that now. He's lost so much weight, and he looks great, and he's doing well. He's doing lots of body positive things, like, whereas he's a drag entertainer, I will say, and he keeps his body hair, keeps his facial hair, and he just throws everything else on as an accessory and doesn't really put too much thought into how people will receive him, because drag queens are so into trying to present an image that is viable. Like, you can just sell it and say, okay, he looks like, I guess they call it realness or whatever, and he's so not trying to get into realness because he was a big guy, he was a huge guy, and then he lost it, and now he accepts his style and his weight or whatever, but he's not 500 some pounds. He was like, I think 4 something, but it wasn't 500. And in that 400 pounds, I don't think he was ever going to be secure. Like, he lived it, but I don't know that he was happy with it, and to the point where he would show it off and let people see him naked at that weight. And I know all people are different. There's no question that all people are different. But what I'm saying is, it's like, can you really be happy and accepting of yourself if you weigh 500 pounds? Because you're not, at this point, you're not the type of person who can, ride an airplane for the price of one. You're buying 2 tickets. If you go into a crowded venue, let's just say in a space like where you're watching a show or whatever, you all of a sudden, when there's that little space left, you don't want that person to be in that space next to you, because you feel like they're just too big to be next to you. Like, there is a prejudice against people who are quite that big, and so when you push it towards adult entertainment, where you're like, I'm proud of myself and I'm going to be an adult model and plus size model, like, I just don't know that I don't know how I feel about it. Like, I went into it with a very open mind, going, I want to see this chick who is so body positive, and I'm sure we see it with men quite more, especially in the bear community. I'm sure we have really big guys who are, into, porn and shoot porn or whatever. But usually I'm thinking these guys are older dudes and blah, blah, blah. But it's like women, like even if I met a 22-year-old or 20-year-old individual gay man who all of a sudden was 500 pounds and was wanting to model, for me, I wouldn't do it. Like, I would be like, no, that's too much for me, because it's not that I'm concerned about the person's health. I'm not going to be like, oh, is that person healthy? You should take, because we do so much to our bodies that who's really healthy? Like, really, like, I mean, I don't know. It's not that. But it's about, I want to make sure that person really is okay, because I know that it's tough when you're trying to be, especially in the gay community. It is, and this girl's not gay, so I mean, I should move on past her. I just felt like when I was looking at her pictures, and I was just like, girl, are you really happy? Like, are you really trying to let people know that at 500 pounds, you're happy and content with your body, and you're going to become an adult model and show your breasts and all? Ooh, speaking of breasts, I watched Bessie with Queen Latifah, and it was good. The film was good. Like, it wasn't great, but it was good. But I can't, like, my eyes, I still see in, like, the dark corners of my eyes Queen Latifah's breast. They should have done something. They should have had, like, a stunt double or something just somebody to stand in and just be like, okay, stunt double, here she, because, ooh, not good. And not that, she's my age, so I get it. We sag and we droop, I get it. But Lord have mercy, they should have used a stunt double. I'm just saying, it wouldn't have hurt. It really wouldn't have hurt if someone had just said, let's just get someone in for Queen to do this one portion and blah blah blah, and we'll be good to go. She wouldn't have minded. I don't think so. She didn't have to. No, she wouldn't have minded. Like, just suggest it. Just tell somebody, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna try this. We're gonna try this out. And movie was good. Movie was good, but I don't know. I think they could have got a body double. And by the way, if we had a little bit of a delay in the podcast, if you heard some pausing or whatever, I'm sorry. It's like I was trying to look up something and then, I don't know, I'd be messing around. That's why I'd be having malfunctions, because I mess around with my computer while I'm talking, because sometimes I'm just sitting here just like looking up stuff, and I was like, oh, that's right, I was going to say this, and then stuff happens. So if it was probably like 20 seconds or whatever, but you'll get over it, because, whatever. But anyway, so it has been a week. So as you guys know, I was, I have a cousin here, and it was really cool. Like, we've been hanging out real tight and going places and doing stuff, and it's been really, really interesting, really fun and stuff, and great to catch up, and it's been awesome. And it's funny because last week, and you guys know I'm very transparent. I talk about so much about my life, but I always want feedback. So if you got something to say, feel free to send it back. But it was really interesting. So we went out, and I met this, and I think I talked to you guys about a friend of hers that I met. Real cool girl. She was leaving, so we kind of all hung out. Well, like, I know everybody, I'm not a drinker, so when I'm around people who drink, it's always one of those things where people are like, you really don't drink? I'm like, no, I don't, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I don't have a problem being around drinkers, not at all. Like, as a matter of fact, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I don't think twice, because I'll drink water. I don't drink soda. And so I just kind of sit there with water, and I always kind of look like a cheap guy. Excuse me. I always kind of look like a cheap dude, but it's not that. It's just I don't drink, and I don't like drinking soda at bars. If I'm going to be 100% honest, I don't like drinking out of glasses in bars. Like, even when I go to restaurants, I don't love drinking out of the glass, but I'll do it because of the fact it's like, okay, because I think they have those big industrial washers. But when I go to a bar, I've only seen them dip it in that solution, rinse it off, and then put it back, and I can't, and I won't do it. So if we're going to be 100%, if you ever see me at a bar or whatever, and I'm not drinking, and I'm drinking water, I just have it sitting there, but I won't drink it. It's just sitting there, but I won't drink it, because I just don't believe they wash glasses good enough for me and bars. So if I do go to a bar and have a drink, I'll drink a Red Bull or something, and and that's on rare occasion, but I will do it. But anyway, we went to a bar because I was like wanting to see a whole bunch. Portland has some of the best bars, so I love going to seeing the people in them and how they've got them decorated and stuff. They're just amazing here. So I don't mind going. I don't mind if it's gay, straight, or whatever. I just like to go. So we hung out, and it was weird because there was tension between the two of them. And like, the funny thing is, when you're with people who are drinkers and you're not a drinker, I think that they feel like they're normal or whatever. God, that's such a horrible word to say, but it's like, of course they're normal, but excuse me, like, I don't think she understood that being the person that was sober, me and her other friend, ever we were sober, so how they were interacting was different, because it's like, you guys are drinking, so it's it's different. So, make a long story short, and I really don't have to because I got like 45 minutes, but